Good morning, Kit Kat. How you doing? Hopefully everybody's ready for tomorrow. I'm just looking for the cold turkey sandwiches. Well, it seems folks are still coming in. Aw, Amy, you had to go and tell everybody I was live. Oh, you should have too. Tomorrow and Friday. Good morning, Railroad Mama. Amy, 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 you little snitch. Oh well, too bad, so sad, Amy. Have a nice day. I'm doing great actually. My back doesn't hurt today. It's a nice feeling. Finally. It's not going anywhere. Um, yeah, I've it's been going on for quite a while. But they did give me a tinge unit, and it seems to be helping. Thank God for a tinge unit. Buster, what are you doing? In or out? One of the two, dipshit. God, being a pretentious, pompous ass this morning. Big time nuisance. Nah, I just took the last couple days off just so my back can heal. Feels better now. But it comes and goes. Hopefully everybody's ready for tomorrow. I'll start cooking the turkey bright and early in the morning. Yay me. If anybody wants to come up on panel, you're more welcome to the links at the top. You know how that goes. Did watch a video yesterday. Okay, now Shelly, here's the big question: is the oven on? I gotta take mine out today and let it finish thawing out. Right, it's been in the refrigerator the last 2 days, but I still make up your damn mind, in or out. I got a 13-pound bird that I'll start about 5 o'clock in the morning and should be ready about 3 o'clock. Oh, I got everything ready. I went did my last bit of shopping today to get all the stuff I needed to be ready. Picked up 2 pumpkin pies, banana cream pie, and the banana cream pie is off limits to everybody but me. Yeah, he's being a cantankerous one this morning. He's full of piss and vinegar for some reason. But that's just best every morning. Problem with deep frying is a lot of people who try doing it don't give the bird a chance to thaw out. They put the damn thing in there frozen, and then it leads to house fires because they don't realize you put a frozen bird in hot boiling grease, you have an explosion. Good morning, Don Ernie. Happy Thanksgiving. Love watching you do your craft last night. Quite interesting. Because I watched a little bit of it last night. You, Elaine, and somebody else, all three at the same time doing a craft. It was quite interesting. I got a laser, but it's for something else, and we won't go into details on what it's for. Well, hello, dipshit. You done going in and out? Dipshit. What are you doing? You gonna come up and say hello to everybody? Hey, what's up? Come on, come on. Okay, there you go. Everybody wants to say hello. Lay down, Mr. Boss Cat. There you go. Everybody wanted to say hello to you. Stay off the remotes. Yeah, he's been hellion all morning. I got yelled at when I got back from the grocery store this morning because he was hungry and I didn't feed him before I left. Shame on me. Get your foot off the keyboard, you little turd. You know the rule. God. Yeah, this is a boss cat. He's gonna get himself wrong if he doesn't keep his paws off the keyboard. Yeah, I'm talking to you. Paws off the keyboard. You know what, Herd? Everybody has their own ideas of what about it and everything else. I don't know about that trailer park trash, but I enjoy the dungeon. Just so you trolls know, I'm not gonna put up with your shit ever. You want to come in here and be stupid? You're automatically going straight to the dungeon. No exceptions. You guys got your own channel. Keep your nappy asses over there. It's that simple. But moving forward, Has anybody seen the new video out that came out yesterday about 9/11? Apparently, somebody either with New York Fire Department, morning Rip, or New York Police Department was walking around videotaping, and they released that video yesterday, and there's more to come. Shows a different aspect of what was going on down there. Maybe they were walking amongst the rubble and everything else. I can go better than that. I can show the video. I saved it. I ended up saving the video. Here, watch. I'll show you. Hmm. I just gotta remember what category I put it into. Get your feet off the keyboard, you dipshit. Oh, wait a minute. Why am I doing? You know what? We ain't doing this today. Tired of you taking over the entire desk. A little shit I had. Go run and hide. There it is. There's what I need. Okay. Okay, here we go. Quite interesting watching. How you doing, Rick? I would like to know who this person was that got this footage of his watch. And this is one of 8 that's being released. No. That's where the tower went down. This is where the guy's walking amongst all the firemen and the police department, or whoever it is that got the video. This is within the first 24 hours of 9/11 happening. Good morning, Elaine. Yeah, but this is there's 8 videos this person's putting out of things that nobody was able to see prior. They were at ground zero and everything else, walking around filming this. There's supposed to be 8 videos altogether. This is the first one. And from what they're saying, by the time the 8th one gets put out there, it's going to give everybody a whole new look on everything that happened during 9/11. So I'm curious as to what they have. Because according to them, they got the video evidence that goes against what the government said 9/11 was. I'm only curious to how long those videos will last. And it's weird watching this because there's some cars that are totally destroyed, there's some cars that are burnt, and then there's some cars that just have dust all over them, all in the same area. But I'm assuming the person is either NYPD or NYFD walking around all these people like this. Good morning, Doxy Grandma. Happy early Thanksgiving. Happy early Thanksgiving, Wendy.
I don't want to go too far with the command post, but get back in there. Where would they work?
I'm guessing it's either has to be a fireman or a police officer doing this video for them to walk around everybody like they are.
Third alarm.
Uh, the same theory a lot of people have had. It was an inside job. Because there's theories out there that the buildings didn't come down because of the planes, but because of positive explosives. Morning, Nelson. Well, if you think about it, Acid, it's been what, 20 years since 9/11? Actually, 22. And if you look at this video and what was strung all over the area, for it to be cleaned up in less than a week makes no sense. Because the entire area was cleaned up in less than a week. And if you look, a lot of cars sitting in parking lots, some were totaled, some had no scratches whatsoever on it. What's the odds of that happening? And in the video, they show firemen trying to use cutting torches on steel beams and taking forever to cut them. But yet, we're to believe that these beams just collapse with no problem. And the dust cloud from the two towers coming down lasted over a week, and it shouldn't have. Especially with the amount of water that they were putting on this building. There was so much water going on in these buildings that it flooded the streets. There would be absolutely no reason for a dust cloud because everything was wet down. That's what I'm thinking. It had to be a fire or a rescue person because they were walking right amongst everybody. And when this happened, if you weren't police or fire, you weren't getting in. Period. And my biggest question is why wait 20 years to put the video out?
And then, let's go. Let's wait to go.
That's what I don't understand. Why wait so long? There was so much dust and percolized debris. They were using shovels to dig. But yet these buildings were made out of steel. And the dust covered blocks. And he's being cantankerous. Yeah, I know, Rip, but like I said, they're going to show where we're cutting the beams from the towers with cutting torches and how hard it was for the cutting torches to cut through these beams. They want us to expect jet fuel as a better cutting agent. Let's get real. They went through so many acetylene tanks and oxygen tanks trying to cut through the steel, it wasn't even funny. We had JP5 cut right through it with no problem. And here's the biggest question: why weren't we told? Why was it a hidden secret? Yeah, that's what I was thinking, Herb. Because I mean, they're walking amongst all of this. That had to be somebody with either the police department or the fire department that was on scene. The same reason there wasn't for the towers. Think about it. There was no investigation going on after the towers went down. No, I don't think it was a volunteer rip because it didn't a volunteer, they would have shut him down. They didn't stop this person from recording anything. This had to be a high ranking official somewhere. Because nobody tried stopping them from recording. I mean, they were in areas that nobody was able to go to. A Burger King by the towers, grocery stores that were by the towers that people were using to sleep in. I think it was done with a camera, just because of the zoom and the way it got stabilization. More important than domestic. This was not done from a cell phone. This was done by a camera.
The big question comes out, how could this have occurred without any forewarning? Could they have been that slick? Could they have been that smart?
Morning, Nancy.
Walter Purdy, who's director of terrorism research. He joins us
But
live.
whoever this person was
We appreciate you being here.
had clout and pull.
You know, we're sitting here saying, how
Because
could
if
there
they
be
didn't, they won't be allowed in the
no
areas they were in.
perhaps there was, it just hasn't shaken out yet? What do you feel? What's your sense here?
No, not like they are now. Martin, look at me. But whoever it was, they had a very expensive camera with stabilization, and they had a very high ranking pull in order to go where they went. Because some of these areas they go into, you had to have pulled in order to get into them. Because they walk through a trauma unit and everything else. And not just anybody can do that.
Guys, let us come down first. Yeah, here. We need oxygen. Okay. Right there. Let's go up here. Let's flat. Me and Donnie were
No. They were using it. See, right now they're in a trauma area. So they had to have somebody with pull in order to get into those areas.
In the center over there.
No, this is a high dollar camera that they're using to make this video. And the zoom that they're able to do with it tells you right there it's not a cell phone.
It's on the tree itself.
I mean, back then, cell phones didn't zoom that very far. Not like this camera zooming. Yes, this is the first of 8. It was released. It was put out yesterday. Hey, IP. Yes, so do I, heard. That's why I'm waiting for the other 7 to come out. Because they put out a briefing, you know, they're going to release 8 videos, never be seen before, that will give more people a whole different outlook on what actually happened on 9/11. And that's what piqued my curiosity. I know. No, they didn't. Whoever's doing this video is walking around with a very expensive camera. A very expensive camera. You get the clarity they got, the stabilization they got. It wasn't a cheap camera. Look at look at me, Linda. Yeah, but they didn't allow the news crews in amongst all the firemen and all the policemen. They were kept out at a distance. They were not allowed in ground zero. This guy's at ground zero. So it has to be somebody with a fire department. It has to be. Because they're right there at ground zero. Nobody but police and fire were allowed at ground zero. Everybody else was kept at bay. And there's 7 more supposed to come out after this one. They just haven't given the time frames. But the statement they made prior to releasing this one was they're going to release 8 videos, and once all 8 videos are out, people will have a different outlook on what actually happened with the trade towers on 9/11. So I can only imagine what videos they got. Who knows? That's possible. But the fact that they made the statement, once all 8 videos are out, people will have a different outlook on what happened on 9/11 makes me wonder what's in the other 7 videos. And I thought the same thing too, Rip, because they're jumping in different areas around ground zero. Makes me wonder if it wasn't a crew that was put in there to catch things and hold on to it until the time was right. Like this was all planned that they were going to put this at a later date to show the truth. And if that's the case, oh boy.
Hello.
So I'll wait for the other 7 videos to come out. See, that's only part of one. There's still more to come on this one. Well, I've always believed that 9/11 there was too many unanswered questions. And me being a fireman at the time and dealing with fires and buildings and stuff, I know how they react and everything else, and knowing that these buildings were made out of steel beams, not just they were 3/4 inch H beam, 3/4 inches. That's a thick steel. And if you look at some of the substructure that they were hauling off, they were diagonal straight lines cut. And the only thing that would do that is a charge, like a demolition charge. So I didn't agree with what they were trying to say is that they came down because of the fuel burning from the planes. Now, that's not what brought those buildings down because there used to be a video out there that showed Tower 1 coming down every 20 floors. On the inside of the building, you saw an explosion. Seriously, that video disappeared. I wonder why. Because I watched that video over and over and over again, and every 20 floors there was an explosion on the inside. That tells me that building was imploded. I just didn't bring it down. Somebody else brought it down remotely. And I'm still firm believer in that because of the fact that you're talking 200-foot or 100-story plus skyscraper. That's a lot of steel, concrete, and everything else. But if you look at the rubble pile after they came down, there's a shit ton of stuff missing. That pile wasn't big enough. The rubble pile was not big enough. Yes, it was acid. And unfortunately, like anything else dealing with 9/11, they up and disappear. Funny how that happens, huh? When people put the truth out there, how fast do they make it go away? Because they don't want people knowing the truth. They really don't. And I'm sorry, people deserve to hear the truth. They would have. They would have. But unfortunately, they fell right straight down on itself. And if you look at this, if you look here, from here up, you're probably talking 30 floors max. And I'm going above and beyond, but that's maybe 30 floors. These towers have withstood astronomical wind shears and everything else. 30 floors on top of 115 is not enough weight to keep it all going down, just like this other one's doing right now. Not enough weight. I'm sorry. Not enough weight. Those buildings dropped straight down. I'm sorry. You don't have buildings drop straight down unless they're being imploded. Well, not on the very first day. This guy was walking in ground zero the day it happened.
What's up?
Which tells me he had to be somebody with the fire department. Because this video is the first 24 hours. From the time the towers got hit until
That was somebody falling. Yeah. That was somebody falling. You see it? It's Bob, right? Right. So that wasn't a bomb, right?
they would.
That was a bomb.
And the jet fuel didn't burn hot enough to burn through that 3/4 inch steel.
I'm sleeping in bed.
Not to cut straight line.
Suicide bomb. That was the bomb. That had to be like we're just sitting there and this
Well,
exploded.
wait, you seen something coming?
I heard it.
We all heard it.
I was lying in bed. I heard it.
I'm in that white building right in front of the ground.
Dude, that's missing.
Not a missile.
Standing here.
That was a plane. That was a plane, probably suicide.
Playing something.
The guy did the fucking.
I know that.
Right, what is 747?
Yeah, but
Because if you think about it,
Is it going to American flash?
the height of these towers, if anything would have given out, it had been down here at the bottom, where all that weight is pressing down on
All
it.
we heard outside was
Not up here at the top.
They read them right into it. So I'm in a little building ground.
But the bottom was the last thing to go.
I'm under the building.
And it has all the weight pressing down on it.
They told me people was dying. I know, like that's how I'm standing. All the rocks came right around me. I was
But
lying
the
on one of those things.
last one to go.
that just blew up.
Yeah.
That just blew up. That was the bomb. So this must have been fun.
Yeah. At the same time, they decided to blow that one up and that one at the same time. That's what they wanted to do.
Well, instead of blowing up the
That's it.
bottom,
I'm done with the
blow up the top.
12 people jumped.
And you look at one of the towers has got two black circles.
Why would they jump? You can't get out. The panic.
Like here. It comes down this way up and over.
What do you think?
Okay, if a plane flew through there, you'd have a big circle right here, right dead middle.
Because it was a plane crash in the other one. There was a plane crash in the other one.
But there's not.
You just set up. It was planned.
All of a sudden,
Even
one
the air
building.
trap was planned.
Yeah, we don't have this aircraft crashing, and all of a sudden, the explosion happens in the second building.
Yeah, like good, like 10 minutes, 20 minutes.
Oh, they would have. Considering from the time these towers were built, the very bottom main floor is holding all the weight of that entire building. And those beams on the bottom floor have been standing there since the buildings have been built with no problem.
Smoking again.
And they use the exact same steel throughout the entire building.
See what I see?
So I'm not buying it that the planes took it down. There was more to it than that. And if you think about why the trade towers, what was in the trade towers? Oh, wait a minute. That's where all of our financial dealings were happening.
There were corpses everywhere. The mangled bodies of men and women who had already jumped or fallen from the upper floors of the building. And the charred remains of passengers from Flight 11, some still belted into their seats.
See how fast that building's come down? I mean, the entire building is coming down. That's an implosion. I don't care what anybody else says. That was imploded.
This
Building 1 and 2 came down, but funny part is when building 1 and 2 came down, we're 7 and 10. 7 and 10 were behind 1 and 2. Seven and 10 were gone before 1 and 2. But people don't realize that. 7 and 10 were gone before 1 and 2. Because if you look at 1 and 2 come down, 7 and 10 would have been right directly behind them. They weren't when those buildings came down. There was nothing behind them. Oh, no. The way they were having that dust storm, that tells me explosives were being used and shit was being blown to oblivion. Because you don't have that kind of dust over a fire without them getting it. Yeah, and if you look at them, they're all being imploded. Because you're saying, well, the fire only maxes out at 2,500 degrees.
Oh, I was standing on the roof of the Woolworth building on the 56th floor looking out the tower to see what happened. And the next thing I did, I seen a spot in the air. Another plane came down.
Listen to what this guy said.
And the circle, I kind of went off a little bit, and then it straightened itself out and dove to the other side and crashed right in. An explosion was so terrific, it looked like it had dynamite in it. The ball of fire that came flying out of that one was even worse than the first one. And we were standing there, and I said, I can't believe this. And sure enough, there it was, another plane. The plane wasn't no airline or anything. It was a twin-engine, big gray plane. About from here down, maybe down to that yellow thing, with 2 motors on it, 2 big propellers. And it went, boom, when it went in there, it dove right in. A few feet away from it. I never seen anything like it. I wouldn't believe that if I was so close. When you're on this building on the 56th floor, you feel like you could touch them buildings.
And that guy was on the Sears Tower and talked about a gray plane blowing up. Oh, it evaporated just as fast as it was burning.
Holy Christ.
Get out of here, right?
No way.
And look at the smoke of the dust
You don't want to
when
get
that
out
guy
there.
walked right out of that
Because
building right
fucking
after
burnt
it
building
went
fell
down.
when I was down there. You don't want to be next to it.
See how little dust there is? It goes from little dust to a big plume of dust. Well, you figure her with JP5, the moment exposed to air, half of it evaporates instantly. You're fine, lucky me. I can't wait for the other 7 to come out to see what he's got. This is as big as what this one alone is showing. No, there was a Sears Tower in New York as well. It just wasn't called the Sears Tower. But Sears and Roebuck was inside the tower as one of the main occupants. Government hides stuff to use the manipulation tools. We all know that. But I can't wait for the other 7 to come out. Well, they have beams where the beams were cut at an angle, which tells me they used a shape charge. And they angled the shape charge for that beam to get cut and slide off. And from what I've seen on the beams, it looked like shape charges were used. And that tells me it was imploded. It had nothing to do with jet fuel. But at the time, look at who the government was, and they were wanting us to think it was terrorists so they can go after terrorists. Well, a plot. Funny how that happens. No, it don't. No, some of them beams had a diagonal, smooth, straight cut. No twisting, no nothing. That tells me it was a shape charge. Because that's the only way you're going to get that kind of a cut. In a 3/4 inch steel beam, H frame, an H beam, no less. The only way you're going to get that kind of cut is with a shape charge. Because nothing else is going to do it. Because they were H beams. They weren't L beams, they were H beams. Which means you got support on 3 different angles. Well, here's the thing, though, Rip. The beams that were used on the Twin Towers were I'm trying to think the term. Because the H beams were made, and then they went through an oil bath. They were hardened, which makes them even stronger. They were hard. They were all hardened H beams, which makes them stronger, not weaker. It makes them stronger. So I don't buy that the fires did that to those beams. I'm sorry. Oh, they were also designed to withstand hurricane force winds because of the height of the towers. They had to be able to handle the jet stream blowing through downtown. They didn't have thermite back then, but they did have shape charges that were used on demolitions on skyscrapers all over the world. Now, it's one hell of a conspiracy theory that the government was trying to push. They do. They flex and twist because of the wind force, but they aren't designed to all collapse at one time. And that's exactly what happened. And they threw out a scenario, people bought it. Well, not everybody bought it. Well, unfortunately, Corn Pop, had that been the case, everybody would have witnessed it on TV. It was done with an implosion, and they can tell me until they're blue in the face it wasn't imploded, and I'll tell them to their face, bullshit. But I need to get more ice water. I'll be right back. And I'm about to make a statement that might upset some, and if it does, I'm sorry to tell you, but the truth hurts. But anybody who believes in what the government is saying about 9/11 are the same stupid people who voted for Biden, Obama, and Clinton. Because they're stupid enough to believe the bullshit that's being put out there. Oh, I know, Rip. I know. That's why I said people who believe this story that they've been putting out there about 9/11 are the same people who voted for Obama, Clinton, and Biden. And that's how stupid they are. And that's just the facts. Because we all know Obama did an essay or in college on how to be a czar of a country. Oh, I hate both Bushes. So it's okay, Corn Pop. I assumed underneath both of them. They're both jerks. I hate both of them. And I had to serve under both of them. Morning, Sassy. No, Bushes were knee deep in OPEC. Well, like I've told a lot of people, this country's only had one true president, an actual president for the people, and that was JFK. And JFK was a Democrat, but he was actually a people's president. And since his assassination, this country has gone down. Now, if you want to break it down by George Washington wasn't for the people; he was for himself. The only president that was actually for the people was JFK, and the only president to ever get this country in the black was Clinton. Every other president's had this country in the red. The only president to get us in the black was exactly. That's exactly why they killed JFK. He wasn't going to play their game. He told them point blank, "I'm for the people. I'm not playing your game," and it got him killed. And they got every candidate thereafter threatened. You run for president, you will die. JFK was for the people. Clinton got this country in the black, and look where we're at now: 300 trillion in debt and climbing. It wasn't a lone gunman on the grassy knoll. It was a Secret Service agent right there at the car. Because they want everybody to believe that Book Suppository building, Lee Harvey Oswald could take a couple clean shots. If you look at where the car was going around that curve, and you look at the Book Suppository with what he was using, an M1, impossible shot. Angles don't match. Angles don't match. He was. He was a patsy. Let's see. Nixon, uh, Ford, one percenters. They were all behind JFK getting assassinated. And the funny part is one of the guys that was behind it ends up getting himself caught up in Watergate. Go figure. One of the people behind the JFK assassination gets himself hooked up on Watergate. Now that's what you call stupid. Last thing you want to do is bring attention to yourself after you help set up an assassination. But he sure did with Watergate, now didn't he? Apparently he does. He didn't take his own memo. Guess he didn't listen to his own memo. No, I like JFK, and I've watched every video, every documentary on JFK there is, because I was curious how they came up with the hypothesis they came up with to explain the assassination. Oh, he was. Because Lincoln was getting rid of slavery. Think about it. Lincoln abolished slavery, and the South didn't want slavery to go away. How soon little people forget about that? That's what got Lincoln killed. Is the fact that he got away with he did away with slavery. Because slave owners were not too keen about that. They weren't ready to give up their slaves. And the sad part is, our schools don't even teach this stuff to the kids nowadays. And since Truman, we really haven't had a president with balls. Because the last actual president with balls we had was Eisenhower. And what he did with the fact that Japan attacked Pearl Harbor. Since then, not a single president has had a set of balls. Neither Bushes, not Clinton, not Carter, not Ford, not Obama, not Trump, not Biden. None of them have had a set of balls. Because I'm sorry, you attacking an American and you taking an American's life, just one. You done kissed your ass goodbye, and I'm going to come over and annihilate the living fuck out of you. I'm going to drop everything I got on your ass, and then you're going to have to figure out how to rebuild your own country. Because I'm not going to help you do it. Not like what we did with Japan. Dropped two bombs on Nagasaki and Hiroshima, and what do? We went right back over there and helped them rebuild. Oh, hell with that. Nah. Why? If I drop bombs on your ass, you're on your own. You got to figure out how to reheal and rebuild, and you're not going to borrow money from me to do it. But our country does just that. We give them the money to rebuild. We help them rebuild. Why? But it is what it is. But since Eisenhower, we've not had a president with a set of balls. Nor have we had a Congress with a set of balls. And we still don't have a Congress with a set of balls. We got a bunch of pussies in Congress. Got a bunch of pussies. Oh, we can't go to war. We can't do this. We can't do that. It'll make us look bad. You know what? You politicians are what's making us look bad because you got no balls to do what needs to be done. You're a bunch of pussies. But they don't see it that way, and they never will. Because the way they put it is they're trying to do the diplomacy style of talking. They do. Everyone that wants to step up and do the right thing, they try getting rid of them. They blackball them. They blacklist them. They prevent them from running. You're right, Max. It was I meant it was Roosevelt. That was the president at the time. No, if you they think you're going to actually go up there and do yes, Franklin Delano Roosevelt. If they think you're going to go in there and go to DC and do the right thing, they will do everything they can to prevent you from getting there. And once you do, if you do get lucky to get there, they sanction you. They basically you can't represent your constituents on any panels or anything else. Because for some reason, the 1% people backing everybody in DC wants pussies in office. Oh, wait a minute. That makes sense. The pussies won't argue back with them. They'll just take the money because they're a pussy. They don't want people to argue with them. They want people to do their dirty work. And what's the fastest way to get the dirty work done? Hire a pussy. They can tell what to do, when to do it, how to do it, and they say, yes, sir, no, sir, thank you, sir. Because a real man would say, you know what, fuck you. Because a true politician would say, you know what, I'm not here for you. I'm here for the people that elected me into this position. I don't give a fuck what you think. I got to answer to the people who voted me into this spot. I don't have to answer to you, but I do them. So you can take your money and stick it where the sun don't shine and hope you don't gag on it in the process. But do you think any of the politicians we got now will do that? Nope. They'll all take that money and run. The only job you can become a millionaire in 1 year is Congress. Politics. Guaranteed to make yourself a millionaire in 1 year if you get to DC. Because there's not a single politician who's gone to DC within the first year has not become a millionaire. Not one. Well, they're supposed to, but they forget that because they stop paying attention to who's paying the money. And it's sad. How soon they forget who their bosses are. Because this country was formed on the simple phrase, we the people, of the people, by the people. Can't get any clearer than that. We the people, of the people, by the people to form a more perfect union. That's as clear as day. Oh, they don't care who's paying the money as long as they're getting the money. That's all they care about. They don't care where it comes from as long as they get it. To them, that's all that matters is they get that almighty dollar. And okay, so I gotta go against what my people who voted me in here want. Okay, for $1,000,000. Okay, I'll go against them. You want me to vote no on this bill? Not a problem. $1,000,000, no. And that's all it is in a nutshell. That's all it is. That's how easy it is to buy them. And that's why they say you want to become a millionaire, become a politician. If you become a millionaire your first year. No, there isn't a single honest one among them. Not even Trump. Trump hasn't even been honest. Well, when everything else settles down, I can take the time to do it. Take care, Rip. No, off-roading. Or I take my Ford, four-wheel drive, and I go play with it. I'm not going to go into details. I'm just leaving it at that. Now, I got to put more pinstriping on my truck anyway. Well, see, I like doing natural pinstriping. Trees, cactuses, bushes. That's the kind of pinstriping I like on my truck. And it doesn't cost anything. That's free pinstriping. I like the free pinstriping. They do. I agree 100%, Rip. That's why I take my truck off road. It's not a trailer queen, and it's sure not a city street queen. I got a four-wheel drive. It's designed to go off road, not drive around the city street and not ever see a patch of dirt one. No, I'm not going to buy a four-wheel drive and dress it up to make it look nice to be a show truck and not take it off road. If that's the case, I'll just buy a two-wheel drive and do the same damn thing. Why spend $4,000 extra to dress up a truck to drive around the city streets? Get a two-wheel drive for that. Four-wheel drives are meant to be taken off-road and abused, beat up, and see how far you can go. And that's exactly what I do with mine. I use it for what it's designed to be used for. Going off-road and having fun in the dirt, the sand, the mud, the water. Not necessarily in that order, but sometimes you never know. You might get lucky and you might get all of them in the same order. Well, you know what they say, Rip. The difference between men and boys is the price of their toys. And I happen to have expensive toys. And I use them. I got a quad. I got my truck. I'm looking at getting this razor side by side. I got a snowmobile. I take them out and I use them. I use them for what they're designed. Hell no. I've taken it through mud. I've taken it off road. What it's designed for. Matter of fact, today I bought it when I was test driving it. I took the salesman with me on the test drive. I took the damn truck off road. He goes, "What are you doing?" I said, I'm buying a four-wheel drive. I want to make sure it works. And the only way to make sure it works is I got to test it. So I tested it, and then I bought it. Got to make sure that four-wheel drive worked. If the four-wheel drive didn't work, I wasn't going to buy the truck. The only way to test it is you take it off road. Because I'm not going to buy some salesman's pitch. Oh yeah, four-wheel drive works. Well, I'll be when I getting ready here to go do some overlanding or off-roading trips. They're all going to be filmed. That's why I got the new camera. I got a couple more cameras coming to attach to the truck so I can film all the off-road activity. Because I got a couple GoPros coming that I can attach on the outside of the truck to show different angles as I'm going over rocks, rivers, the whole 9 yards. One of them I'm going to put underneath the undercarriage. Good morning, Beth. No, one of the cameras is going underneath the truck. So you get ground eye view of what I'm going over. That way you guys get up and close personal with the rocks, the boulders, and everything else. But while you guys are both here, Beth, happy Thanksgiving to you and Rip. Hope you guys have a good one. Um, I'm one mounted off just behind the axle so it doesn't get crushed when the axle articulates. It is going to be mounted on one of the stabilizer bars. That way it's up high enough it doesn't get destroyed, and you can see the axle twist back and forth. I got solid axles up front, so you'll be able to watch the articulation. You're welcome, Beth. Now, I want you guys to be able to see the articulation as I go over stuff, whether the solid axles rocking back and forth. Because right now I've got 15-degree articulation, and once I get my forelink, that 15-degree is going to go from 15-degree to 32-degree articulation. If you got rain, you can go mudding. Or you tell Rip, hey, throw out the garden hose. Give us let it run for about half an hour to an hour, and then we're going to make our own mud pit. That's an expensive jump. I did that with quads across the desert several years ago. I've got a quad that just got a $10,000 motor in it, and I was trying to go pro, and I was like, "Holy shit! There's no way I could afford it." Because going pro is not cheap, man. It's not cheap at all. Oh, that's what I'm going to be using is GoPros, two of them, one underneath the truck and one on the front bumper. I got that, man. No, I'm gonna put one up underneath the truck, and I'm gonna put one on the front bumper. That way, that gives you two good angles. One underneath the truck and one coming right down the road. But I think the one right underneath the truck will be the best one. I'm too old anymore to worry about it. I just take the quad out and I have fun with it. Only quad I know that will do a buck plus across the desert flat out. And if you know anything about speed, you know what I mean by a buck plus. For those that don't know, a buck plus means 100 miles an hour or better. Well, that's why I'm going to put one under the underneath the truck, right just behind the front axle, so you can see what the articulation is and climb over the rocks and everything else to see what it looks like going over a rock with a four-wheel drive. Up and close and personal. The only way to go. Welcome back, AP or IP. What up, KMC? Happy Thanksgiving to you as well, KMC. I've raced modified stock car, and quads. I'm done with my speeding. I've gotten the speed out of my system. Let me tell you, when you're doing 120, 130 miles an hour across the desert and you hit the self bed and your quad stops and you go flying, you get the speed out of your system quickly. It doesn't take long. It doesn't take long at all. Well, it's not the flight that hurts, Rip. It's that sudden stop. That's when it hurts. The flight's painless. It's that sudden stop. I wasn't planning on coming off the quad, and I didn't see the silt bed in time, and the front tires hit. Bike stopped. I didn't. Knocked the GB wind out of me like there ain't no tomorrow when I hit the ground. I just lay there going, "Oh my God, I'm dead." Because, man, that sudden stop hurt like hell. I thought about racing go karts until I went and watched a go kart race and watched one of the guys flip the go kart. I was like, "Oh hell no!" It was bad enough on a quad. There ain't no way in the world I'm going to do it on a go kart. Because you're strapped into them damn things and there's no roll bar. Well, I know there is. Well, think about it, Rip. You can take any quad out and drag race it, or drag bike, put across the sand, put big old paddle tires on the back and go. Oh, so do I. After hitting silt on a quad and flying about 120, 130 yards and hitting the ground, I prefer a roll cage too. I'm sorry. The cageless racing, not going to happen with me anymore. I got to have a cage around me. It hurts too much without one. No, I'll stick to stock cars, modified stock, some with a cage. As far as racing without cage, I'm done doing that. Not going to do that anymore. Hurts too much. Uh, Believe it or not, Rip, every one of my ex-wives refused to ride a quad with me when they realized I raced them. Because for some reason, they thought I'd get that bike going as fast as I could get it going, and it scared the hell out of them. But when it's just me, I didn't care. But when there's somebody else on the bike, I don't do that. I actually go slow. But when it's just me, I don't care. I let it go. We push it to the limit. But it's just me. I'm not gonna do that with somebody on the bike. I've never done that. Oh, I am. Now, most people that know me from being in the military, racing, and everything else, they've always said I'm on a suicide run. Who knows? I might be. I don't know. But when it's just me, I don't care. The only one I got to worry about is me. I go out there and I have fun. That's all it's about. It's having fun. It's all about having fun. That and pissing cops off when you're running down the dirt road and you hang a little right and they can't get where you're going because they're in an SUV that doesn't have the right suspension. That's fun. Tell him, Beth. Tell him. She's going to get you, Rip. But I need more ice water. Be right back. Aw, darn. All the trolls are leaving. Sorry, trolls. I I guess my stream wasn't full of something you can twist around. Sucks to be you. I got a China set that I got when I was in Hong Kong that I have never used. It's still in the box. I'm afraid to use it. Well, I'm not here for the trolls. All they do is belittle people. They cut people down. They come up with lies about people, trying to discredit people. They have no life. Life's too damn short. Gotta enjoy it. Enjoy it while you can. And if you're afraid to get out of your house and do something, that's on you. That's not me. I've always been an outdoors person. I'm happy on a horseback chasing cattle. To me, that's life. Camping out in the wild, eating out of a chuck wagon. To me, that's fun. That's what we're doing. That's what I'm doing tomorrow. Paper plates. That way, I don't have to worry about doing a lot of dishes. That's the best china to have. You either throw it away or you burn it. Less work, more time for enjoyment. No, I've got a set of expensive china that is got gold inlay, and I bought it basically to hang on to and keep the past down. And if I were to have to replace one piece of it today, I couldn't afford it. Oh, you're afraid to break something. All you gotta do is break one item out of a china set, you no longer have a set. And then you gotta try finding a replacement. Then you gotta try finding a perfect match to replace the one that broke. That's why I don't ever use it. Oh no, not if you get that child involved in going on cattle drives. That's fun. I am cooking a turkey. The set I have, I couldn't find another set unless I went back to Hong Kong where I bought it to try replacing it. And I don't feel like going back to Hong Kong. No, I'm doing turkey, yams, pumpkin pie, banana cream pie, mashed potatoes, yams, uh, dinner rolls, something simple. That way I have cold turkey sandwiches after the fact. I've got quite a few katanas. Hey, that's what makes them unique. They'll figure out what their niche is, and that will make them happy, and there's nothing wrong with that. I, on the other hand, the only one in the family between me, my brother, and my sister that felt comfortable on a horseback. My brother became a civil engineer. My sister, God knows what she did. I went horseback riding. Every chance I got, I was on a horse. I am more relaxed on a horse out of nowhere than I am in a city. I'm not a city guy. I would rather be on a horse out in nowhere than in the city. Away from all the hustle, bustle, the gunshots, the sirens. It's nice, it's quiet, it's serene. Now, I like to go camping on horseback. No vehicles, just horses. Just find a trail and go where the trail goes. And while you're out there, you find a nice camping spot. I've done cattle drives from Colorado into Dallas Fort Worth on multiple occasions, and I loved it. Where we've taken thousands of heads of cattle and drove them to the Texas stockyards to be auctioned off. To me, that's living. And we had a chuck wagon that came with us, and we ate out of the chuck wagon. To me, that's living. You and Mother Nature, and 1,000 head of cattle. Well, I kind of cheat, Rip. I've got a cot that can collapse. That when I get where I'm going, I just pull the cot off the back of the saddle, and I'm not on the ground. And it's comfortable. But it folds down small enough to tie to the back of a saddle, and I'm not sleeping on the ground. That way, I don't have to worry about looking for rocks and everything else underneath me. But I'm just more comfortable on horseback. Just letting the horse walk at its pace, enjoying the scenery. See, let me tell you, this country is some of the most beautiful country you'll ever see. I have a 3-inch air mattress that goes on top of it that's self-inflatable. I pulled out my cot, I put my little 3-inch air mattress on top of it, I'm good to go. Now, I mean, let me tell you, that cot and that air mattress were quite comfortable. I enjoyed it. There really is. That's why I like about being on horseback. You see things that you normally can't see from the air or from a car because you're having to follow roads. When you're on horseback, there are no roads. You can take any trail you want. I mean, you can find some beautiful riverfront campgrounds, campgrounds that got a little creek go through it. No, but you can't do that from a car. And on horseback, you can see some of the most beautiful countryside there is. You really can. That's what I like about horseback riding. And the wildlife you see, oh my God. You can come across a herd of deer, a herd of buffalo. You can see bears, all in their natural habitat, and it's amazing. Just the wildlife alone that you see while you're out there is out of this world. You can come across a prairie full of prairie dogs. Nope, they don't. Well, because they're used to all the wild horses that are running around. And believe me, there are a lot of wild horses still out there. But it's Mother Nature at its best. It really is. I go up on the Mogollon Rim. I'll go out to the plains between Flagstaff and New Mexico. I'll ride from up into Colorado. I'll ride over into Mexico, New Mexico. I'll go horseback riding up into Utah, Nevada. There's all kinds of places to go where you see Mother Nature at its best. Believe it or not, Beth, I had an opportunity this year to go out on a Mustang herd roundup, and at the time I couldn't do it, and I regret not doing it because I love it. Because I used to do it years ago, and when they were doing a Mustang drive this year, I was invited to go to it, and other things came up, and I wasn't able to make it, and I regret it. It ain't nothing better than rounding up 150, 200 head of horses and bringing them into a corral for them to find a better home. That's how I got my paints. My 2 paints I own used to be wild horses, and I bought them at an auction on wild Mustangs. I've got one that's a chestnut red and white, and I got one that's a brown and white. I love both of them. But between the 2, the chestnut red and white is my favorite horse. Well, we do. We catch them into the fence, and then we drive them into a main auction area, just like cattle. And we don't push them. We let them go at their pace. But my 2 paints I got were through an auction, and I couldn't have asked for a better chestnut red and white. I mean, the chestnut red and white blend perfectly, and I love my paint. That horse won't let nobody else but me get on him. That's my pride and joy. Beside Next to him, my other pride and joy is my thoroughbred. Solid black with one white diamond in the middle of the forehead. His name is Bam Bam. And let me tell you, that horse loves running up mountains. He comes to a hill, he'll stop cold in his track, look up, look down, and he's in a hot trot going up the road. Oh, when these 2 paints have to be put down, I probably won't get another paint either. Because they're such a unique horse. They really are. They're not like any other horse. And they each have their own temperament, and it fits that particular horse. It really does. That's the one thing I can say about paints. They are very unique in their own ways. They don't have any characteristics of any other horse. There's something about a paint. When I go horseback riding, I don't have time to videotape jack shit. Actually, Rip, the two I have aren't, but they are very particular who they will let ride them, and I do mean very particular. My chestnut, red and white. I can walk out to the pen. He could be out no matter where he's at in the pasture. I whistle one time. That horse comes running because he knows he will have a half an apple waiting for him. Because I gave every time I go out to see him, I give him half an apple. That horse loves apples. The other one doesn't want nothing to do with an apple. Well, there had been a reason, Beth. There had been a reason. Horses are not stupid. They're very smart. They will know an experienced rider over an inexperienced rider over somebody who's scared to death of riding horses. They will sense that so fast it's not even funny. It's just like dogs will sense when you're afraid of a dog. But horses are very unique. Probably. Probably was, Rip. Believe it or not, horses do get jealous. How dare you take time away from her with Beth? Shame on you. Beth is her person. Didn't you know that? Only one that's supposed to have her time is Beth. Nobody else. No, a friend of mine bet me $200 he could ride my chestnut red and white pant. Like I told him, I said, make it 500. You got a deal. He's like, okay, 500. I said, okay. Should I call the fire department now or after the fact? What do you mean? I said, well, he'll let you get on him, but once you're on him, you're coming off faster than you went on him. Oh no, I got this. I said, okay, I'll call the fire department, have them standing by. Sure enough, as soon as he climbed on, he was right off. That horse didn't even let him swing his leg over before he bucked him off. I said, that's $500. He's like, well, you taught your horse. I said, I didn't teach that horse jack shit. I wet saddle broke him, and I haven't taught him anything. That horse has picked up all this on his own. Horses are very intelligent, but he's a one person horse, and it don't matter who you are, you're not getting on him unless you're me. And you can't teach that to a horse. Oh no, that horse used to follow me around like a lost puppy. No, I'd go walking around. That horse was never on a lead. That horse would follow me around off of a lead like a lost puppy. Everywhere I went, he was right there behind me, every step of the way. He was like a damn dog. And my grandparents were like, "What is it with you and that horse?" I said, "I don't know. That's the horse. I'm just walking around." They're like, "Yeah, we've been watching that horse follow you all day long. He's right behind you every step of the way." Oh, I bet you that horse taught him quite a few lessons. No, horses are very unique and what with their characteristics. No, my horse would bow, just a bow, and I never taught him to. He was strange. He'd see a mare, that damn thing would bow with me sitting in the saddle. I'm like, "What the heck you doing, dude? Get up!" And then I look over and there'd be a mare standing right there, and that's what he was bowing at was the mare. I think the damn thing was a horny little bastard. I swear to God, that had been the horniest horse I've ever owned. It got to the point where I had to keep him and a couple other stallions out of the pens, away from the mares, so they couldn't see the mares, because that horse would bow constantly at the mares. Well, because she wanted time with Beth, not you. No, mares are just like dogs. Dogs are peculiar in the same way. I used to have a Queensland healer. I can't go nowhere with that damn dog being in my truck. Nowhere. I mean, I'd get up at 6 o'clock in the morning. I'd go feed the animals, and then I'd decide to go run to town to do something. I'd go in, get changed so I could run into town. I'd come out, that damn healer was sitting in the bed of my truck, ready to go. God forbid I go anywhere without her. She'd sit in the bed of that truck all day long, waiting for us to go somewhere. Literally. She would sit in the bed of my truck waiting to go somewhere. She liked going for rides. It'd drive me crazy. I'd even try sneaking out of the house, and she'd still be in the truck. I think that damn dog slept in the truck. Because I'd look at her for her, I wouldn't see her. It's like, good, I can sneak out, quietly close the door to the house, quietly walk over to my truck, and I get to my truck, and there she is. It's like, well, shit. Okay, let's go. And then she'd jump out of the bed of the truck, jump into the cab of the truck, go over to the passenger seat, and would sit there like a queen. Well, that'd piss off a horse. Believe it or not, horses are very intelligent. Yes, they are very persistent. But you can't help but love them. But I love my paint. It's chestnut red and white with blue eyes. Very rare combination. Rip, you do? She's going to kick out of that grave and get you in your nuts. Even though she's dead, she's still going to kick you in the nuts. Just to remind you that she's still boss. But I hope you all have a very happy Thanksgiving tomorrow. Be safe. May God watch over all of you. And we will catch you guys on the flip flop. Time for me to go get everything ready for tomorrow. Yay, me. She just wanted to remind you she was boss. That's all it was, Rip. She was telling you she's boss. Uh, High five to all the gentlemen, hugs to all the ladies. Enjoy your Thanksgiving. Enjoy football. Enjoy the parade. And happy Thanksgiving to each and every one of you guys. And thank you for joining me today. You guys are what makes this channel what it is. You really do. And with that being said, peace and love. Take care, everybody.